Whether it's the regular season or the off-season, we have you covered as we give you the best Tennessee Titans and NFL news and insight that a fan could ask for. You're watching the Titan Upload Network.
Watching the Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
The Power Hour is on the air, live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Monday evening. Got to give a shout out to everybody for yesterday, for giving me my birthday wishes. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Thank you for the appreciation. I'm just another day older and another day wiser, but it is what it is. I gracefully age like fine scotch. But of course, enough about myself. We have got a fantastic show for you tonight, and it wouldn't be possible without the help of my co-host and partner in crime. As always, Tyler Staggs joining us on the show. Tyler, happy Monday as always.
Happy Monday to you as well, buddy. And I told you yesterday, but I'll tell you again today, just because it's worth saying and worth celebrating. Happy birthday, buddy. So, and anyone in the chat, make sure if you didn't do it yesterday, wish Michael a happy birthday.
Belated birthday, but I will take it if you give it to me. But thank you very much, Tyler. But enough about me. There's plenty to talk about tonight. And even before we can get into the kickoff, a lot of news dumped today. As we know, first of the month, this is an opportunity for teams to move some contracts now, especially since they're available for other teams to talk about trade possibilities. And we had two massive news drops today. So let's start with the first one that came out earlier today, Tyler. And I think it's interesting to break up to this point. Myles Garrett seemed to be a talking point throughout the entire offseason, really for the last couple of years. I didn't think the Browns would want to make that move, but apparently the Rams, who honestly have no interest in first-round picks whatsoever, decided, you know what, we don't even want 2027. Let's go ahead and just throw all our chips on the table. Going after Myles Garrett, the trade will officially be completed potentially in the next day or two, but as it looks, Myles Garrett is on the move to the Rams, and the Cleveland Browns get, I believe it was a first for 2027, a second for 2028, and a third for 2029, and apparently a player swap as well. I'll let you pick it up from there.
So, Jared Verse heading over to the Browns, and, it, one sec. Didn't want to cough into the mic there. But, it was, honestly, I'm surprised that the Browns let him go for only one first-round pick in return. Like, I know they get Jared Verse back, and I think Jared Verse is a really good young edge rusher. Like, he was – the guy hasn't even hit his prime yet, really. And so I think Cleveland is getting some good return there, but – you think about it, a lot of the talk was if Myles Garrett was going to be moved, it was going to require like multiple first-round picks and things like that. So when I saw only one first-round pick, and I see one Browns fan on TikTok, and he was absolutely in disbelief and irate. The crazy thing was, Michael, he had just put up a video this morning before all of this went down saying that, if he was the Browns front office, he's not even picking up the phone or staying on the phone if it doesn't start with at least 3 first-round picks. So that tells you where his mind was. And now this trade goes down like it did. And, if you're a Browns fan, I don't know how you feel about this. But Myles Garrett on to the Rams, and I think they were already the Super Bowl favorites, and then this kind of pushed them up even more. And right now, I mean, if you were to crown a champion in the offseason, the Rams have to be up there.
Yeah, I definitely feel for Cleveland fans today, especially not even like 10 minutes passed, and I'm like just scrolling on Twitter while I'm getting ready for show prep. Apparently, a dude got his hands on a Myles Garrett played in jersey. So, got to be feeling good about himself, at least until 2 or 3 o'clock around at that time.
Yeah, that like it was one of those things that kind of reminded me of like the situation with the Titans a couple months ago when someone got like that Tavondre Sweat signed helmet or whatever, and then the team traded him away. But now the dude gets a played in Myles Garrett jersey, and the same day Myles Garrett is traded away. It's like, man, that's got to sting.
I mean, it's definitely a sucker punch to the stomach, but I mean, I digress. I'll give the Rams credit where credit's due. This team's very, very much in their Super Bowl window, Tyler, and it wouldn't surprise me if they got to that point. So why not just throw all your chips on the table at this point? I feel if you're the Rams, you're probably going to get one more year out of Matt Stafford. Go all in. I don't have an issue with that.
I don't either. And, this honestly, I saw where someone posted this on X earlier. It kind of makes taking Ty Simpson with like the 13th overall pick or wherever it was makes sense, because if this is Stafford's last year and he's gone, you could afford to trade for Myles Garrett because Stafford is going to be out and you're going to have a QB on a rookie deal. So it's like, hey, we get a head start on building around our rookie quarterback.
Les Snead, to me, just has no interest in first-round picks. He's chucking them things. Don't care. I have no interest in them except for currency and obviously the Rams in a major Super Bowl window in 2026. Moving forward with that, I think it's a great deal for the Rams. Cleveland, I really felt it really depended on the return value. And when I was looking at the deal, my first initial thought when the trade happened was, this is a bad deal. But all in all, Tyler, I mean, looking at what they got, it's not a bad option, especially that first in 2027. I think that was important, especially this is going to be a very great draft for quarterbacks, offensive tackles, and even some nice skill players.
The only bad part about it, and we've talked about this before, is now you have that potential of that first round pick that you're getting. Like, it could very likely be like the 30th, 31st, or 32nd pick. Like, it's not like it's going to be a top half of the draft unless something crazy just happens, which we've seen happen in the NFL before. But it's still a first-round pick, and you can use it to move around. But, the biggest thing for me is them getting Jared Verse in return. Like, no, he's not Myles Garrett level, but he is a good young pass rusher. He's 25. I think I saw something where he like grew up in Ohio, so it's kind of like it's kind of a homecoming for him, and it's one of those things where you kind of have to just wait and see if it really pays off for the Browns. Like, they have to make those picks count. Whereas initially looking at the trade, I'm like, yeah, Rams probably won this trade up front here because you already add a star-studded guy in Myles Garrett, and I don't know if you've been seeing it, Michael, but now everyone's like, oh, I'd be, if I'm Sean McVay, I'm just shooting Aaron Donald a message and being like, hey, what you up to? you want to come out and retire? And even if it doesn't happen, just the thought of a defensive line, even though he's been out of the game for a couple years now, a defensive line consisting of Myles Garrett and potentially Aaron Donald, like, I don't think any quarterback that would have to play them this year would sleep at all the week leading up to that game.
Well, I'm going to stop that talk dead in its tracks right there because I think Aaron Donald's enjoying retirement. As intriguing as that does sound, I do think this defense is very built solidly to get to the Super Bowl this year. I do think this kind of has to put them a little bit over the Seahawks at this point, in my opinion, heading into 2026 with that addition, and especially with the retooling of their secondary, which is a major deal. So, speaking of major deals, that wasn't the only deal that went down. About an hour or two passes, and we all knew this was probably the worst kept secret since maybe April. So A.J. Brown, definitely not happy with the Philadelphia Eagles, whether they wanted to admit it or not. They weren't interested in trading. Obviously, a little bad blood with Nick Sirianni. You can say yes or no, but you kind of read the room with the situation. I mean, there was the giant Easter bunny basically sitting in the locker room. You tell me what was wrong. But as it seems, apparently there was some interest to move him after all because he'll be heading up to New England to join Mike Vrabel, and it'll only cost them a 5th-round pick in next year's draft and a 1st-round pick in 2028. So, Tyler, obviously you got to feel pretty good about if you're a New England fan because you really haven't had a lot of positive to talk about for the last month.
Yeah, I mean, after the last month, this is like, oh, great. We finally actually have something, like you said, positive to talk about. And they've got their new wide receiver 1. And I mean, this is no secret. Like, AJ grew up liking the Patriots. Like, the Patriots were his favorite team. And he, even back before he got drafted, like, he thought the Patriots were going to take him because that's how talks had kind of been going. So now it's kind of a full circle moment for him. And, hey, good for him. He's reuniting with Vrabel and a couple of other former Titans players that, I'm sure he's still kept in touch with, like Kevin Byard. And, yeah, like you said, if you're a New England fan, you have to like that you're getting a little positive talk right now.
And let's move on to the other side of this. I mean, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously, you have Lemon to potentially take in that slot, but I don't know if I feel confident enough with him filling in that role. Kind of feels familiar, Tyler. I mean, we've had this situation happen before.
We have. The one thing I will give, I guess, the Eagles over what John Robinson did was John Robinson did like a 1st-round pick swap and gave up AJ. And at least Howie got back a 1st round and a 5th round for him. But yeah, we know all too well the sting of thinking, hey, we can just replace AJ and be fine. And it's not always that simple. And which, here's the thing. Like, I guess kind of comparing it to maybe the Titans last year a little bit. We had to have rookie wide receivers step up that we didn't really plan on at the time. But the Eagles took Lemon in the 1st round. Like, I think they kind of knew that they were going to be moving on from AJ, and they already had it in the works that, Lemon could be a guy that they bring in and they hope to take over that role. But you just got to hope that he can handle that pressure that now he is for sure thrust into of being one of your top receivers. But it helps out he's got Devonta Smith on the other side.
He does. And I mean, they have a solid tight end room. And I mean, you got Saquon Barkley. You can't beat that combination right there. So it's not like you're asking him to take on a major role. But I expect, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles prestige, they're going to expect a lot out of him. So, you know, whether they look at it at a positive or a negative this aspect, I do feel A.J. Brown moving on is better for everybody. I think for the New England Patriots, if they figured out their offensive line, I mean, that's still a Super Bowl contending team, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way as far as their receiver room goes. They went from Stephon Diggs to now A.J. Brown. And, I mean, it's an upgrade. Brown's younger. He's more physical than Stephon Diggs was. So,
yeah.
You know, it works out. And Drake May can put the ball up for him.
I mean, that's a massive upgrade. I mean, reunited with Mike Vrabel, I think it's going to be one of those things that's really going to make the AFC East even more competitive heading into 2026. But I think it works out for both teams for what they're trying to do in the long run. I guess we'll figure that out when they play the games. All right, Tyler, we got to talk about that a little bit because I couldn't just let that just kind of just slide by. There was just too much to talk about that in general. So OTAs happened just not even Friday ago. So I guess we got to talk a little bit about that because we're not going to get to see any more OTAs till the 8th. So let's jump into Titans talk and talk about it.
Let's do it.
Keep your fingers crossed. I've got some extra screens on here. I hope this is the right one.
And here's the kick.
I did it! All right, so I got some good vibes right there. I'm feeling good. This Monday's already off to a great start. OTA breakdown. So, Tyler, one guy that's definitely been getting a lot of heat. Cardell Tate, easily the talk of camp, the sweetheart, the darling, whatever you want to call him. The intrigue is just through the roof. However, it seems we may be underlooking somebody at this point. And I would have to say, from Jim Wyatt's point, especially from his article that he put out right after OTAs, Tajay Spears has been going off. And I think people need to pay attention.
And, you know, that's a good point that you bring up because apparently I missed that article. I'm actually going to look right now to pull it up, but
you should absolutely pull that up and look it up because Tajay Spears is absolutely just come alive in this Brian Daboll offense. And that excites me because I genuinely feel like if we have a versatile back that can run the ball, catch it out of the backfield, and just be that kind of weapon we need on this offense to help progress them along. You know, Tony Pollard can be the workhorse for another year, maybe even 2 years if they want to sign him to another extension. I'm fine with that. But I want to see Tajay Spears pick it up and go because we've praised him so much, and I just want to see him live up to those expectations.
Yeah, you know, my biggest thing with Tajay Spears has just been his availability because we've seen it in spurts. Last year we got to see a little bit more of it because he was more healthy throughout the season, didn't miss as much, but he's just a guy, he's slippery. And I don't know how else to describe it because you get the ball in his hands and you think that a defender has him dead to rights. And all of a sudden, he's skirted past them and is 5 yards up the field, turning what looked like it was going to be a 5-yard loss into a 5-yard gain. And it's like, how did he do that?
And that is exactly what Jim Wyatt wrote, especially in his column on Friday. He took small gains and turned them into big-time plays.
So, you know, that's the biggest thing. If Tajay can stay healthy, and this is nothing against Tony Pollard. I want to make that clear. Nothing against him. But if Tajay can stay healthy, I prefer to see him out there because I feel like that gives you more of that home run play potential. It's just another playmaker out there on the field that you can get the ball to him short. He makes a couple of guys miss, and he's gone.
Absolutely. And I mean, talking about more playmaking ability playmakers, I got to add Wandale Robinson into the conversation because, once again, getting praise, becoming one of those guys that's going to help Cam Ward get to the next level. I mean, we're talking about Carnell Tate, and I might be saving the best for last, but I got to give some love to the guys that are really showing up. Carnell Tate's been balling out. Apparently, Xavier Restepo's been playing pretty solid. Bryce Oliver's actually been stepping up in this OTA session. I mean, Tyler, it really shows me that we may potentially have a really great offensive wide receiver battle this year in camp.
Yeah, I agree. I'm loving like seeing this and seeing so many different names really pop up with different things. Like I feel like the last couple of years we tried to have more of like that veteran guy, and when I like a smaller veteran guy, like you think about when we brought in Tyler Boyd, then we went Tyler Lockett, and now going Wandale Robinson, a guy that's younger than those two guys were, but he's still got that veteran experience. And, you know, he's the guy that's going to be racking up catches. Let's see, Friday, I think. Yeah, he had a practice high 6 catches on Friday. They may not be the flashy catches or things like that, but he's going to give you he's going to provide someone that can get open for Cam and be moving the chains or getting it into more manageable situations. And that's what we need from him.
And I got to give a shout out to the tight end room because apparently the tight end room is just bussing. Gunnar Helm might exactly be what we hoped him to be, Tyler. And I get excited when we see highlight plays of him just running out and catching the ball the way he has, and just all the good reports you keep hearing from everybody that's getting to watch these practices. I genuinely am buying Gunnar Helm stock this season because I really feel like with the excessive growth of this wide receiver room through free agency and through the draft, I genuinely feel like that dude's got a chance to be something really special.
Oh, I agree. And, you know, that was something that me and you just back and forth have kind of talked about before, not even on a show, anything, but like when it was obvious that they weren't going to bring Chig back or when he was first hitting free agency, you know, we were kind of talking about it, and I was like, you know, hey, I want to see Gunnar Helm take over that tight end 1 spot. Like, I think that's what we need. Like, yeah, it's nice to have Chig, his playmaking ability, but as far as what we need in this tight end room, like, if Helm can pan out, and like you said, there's going to be I feel like there's going to be a lot more attention given to our wide receivers this year. And if that's the case, and I see it in the chat here from Kobe, you know, Helm season, and I think he could absolutely, you know, be in for a big season.
Of course, with all the ups that we're doing with this OTA session, I also got to kind of just bring us a little bit down to earth. And let's just be honest right now. I think Will Levis is very much fighting for a spot on this roster heading into 2026. Even with Mitch Trubisky not participating, I just feel like Will has definitely just missed the mark on potentially just excelling himself out there to another team. And that's just the downside, Tyler. I mean, I'm not rooting against Will Levis, but at the same time, despite everything, despite weather even, where they're throwing the ball in the rain, I mean, you got to take advantage of these opportunities. And with Mitch Trubisky not in there, you feel like that's a chance for you to potentially battle for a backup position or maybe even on a practice squad if they feel that you could fit in somewhere there. But it's hard to sell yourself right now if you're Will Levis if you continue to make the same mistakes you were making in 2024.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the biggest part. And I've seen where some people have talked about, oh, well, people just like to throw like Will Levis under the bus for any mistake that he makes. But if Cam makes a mistake, they're not as hard on him. Here's the biggest difference. How many times are you seeing Cam make the same mistake over and over and over and like he's not doing it like that? Whereas the mistakes that Will Levis is making, they're the same mistakes that we saw from 2 years ago. Like you mentioned, it's like there hasn't been that mental growth that he should have had at this point. And, this is not trying to just hate on him. This is just kind of my observations from what we've been given. I mean, if you're basically throwing an arm punt that's 10 yards short of where your wide receiver is and just making it easy for these like lower down the depth chart guys to get the interception, or on a screen pass, throwing it right to a defensive lineman, like, come on now. This is like, that's like rookie year mistakes that you make and you learn from them and don't make them again. But that's just not happening with him.
I mean, despite it all, whatever's going to happen with him moving forward, I just don't see it being with this team moving into training camp. I mean, it's just really, really odd to me that you're going to go into training camp with 4 quarterbacks. And I mean, a lot of teams are just looking for depth and looking for something just in particular with a skill set that an offensive coordinator is looking for. But I genuinely feel like they're just trying to build up some stock and potentially find a buyer out there before they have to be forced to cut them loose. And it seems like it's just slowly moving in that direction, Tyler. I'm not guessing anything, or I'm not trying to make any kind of just predication to the future. I just feel like that they're going to have, it's going to be Cam Ward and it's going to be Mitch Trubisky on the 53. And potentially one of the guys, if they decide to keep one of them, it's going to be a practice squad guy. Hendon Hooker would be my guess.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at too. Like even, and you mentioned this earlier, like right now with Trubisky not doing anything, like, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe like Will Levis is feeling more pressure to try and compete for that spot because he knows that this is his opportunity since Trubisky isn't out there right now, and wanting to prove the reason why he could be the backup, or even get his stock up just so another team may want to come calling for him. And maybe that pressure's just weighing on him. So, but yeah, if I had to guess right now, like you said, Cam, he's the starter. Even with Mitch Trubisky not doing anything, I think just having the veteran presence, they're going to be looking at him to be the backup. And while I don't think that Hendon Hooker has been really that great by any means so far throughout OTAs, I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to keep him on instead of Levis as that practice squad. Yeah.
I mean, Hendon Hooker, it's like you said, it's practice squad. He's a practice squad guy. That's where I see where his ceiling is right now. And that's fine. Somebody's got to run the PS team. Understandable. I do feel, especially with the OTAs right now, there's just this excitement that's just building up and it's just bubbling up. And everybody's just feeling that energy. And you want more of it. You want to see more highlights and just how everybody's just fitting into the system. But like I said, I want these guys to make their mistakes too. That's how you learn from this thing. Obviously, we got people out here that don't understand what a low ball catching drill is, and they think that our wide receiving core is just terrible. I'm just going to put it out there right now. Stop putting that narrative out there. Shame on you. You know what you did. I'm all for people wanting to get clicks. You do you, boo-boo. Get your paper. Cash rule everything around me. Money, get the dollar bill, y'all. But I'm just telling you right now, if you're going to put narratives out there, at least be forthcoming with it. Or at least give a better understanding. It's so easy to just misconstrue the whole situation.
Yeah, 100. I've had to just quickly scroll past those accounts that are putting that low ball drill out there and talking about, looks like the Titans wide receiver rooms is going to be bad again, or some of these fantasy guys, I'm not drafting any Titans wide receivers. And I'm like, you are so dumb with not understanding what is going on here. So I just have to scroll.
I mean, with that said, we had to get that out of the way. But overall, OTAs has been very solid. I love the progression that we're going through. Want to see more when the 8th rolls around. So I'm pretty excited about that. And when we get more info and more content about that, I'm dying to get more up there for you guys and just have some more information to bring up. More importantly, I want to see guys that weren't there maybe show up. I know they got other things going on. That's fine. I'm not making a big deal about it. But eventually you want to get all the guys in, especially before they go on their break before camp. So I'm just throwing that out there. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, Amy Adams Strunk has been through the ringer for the last 4 years. Is she on the road to redemption? We'll talk about that next, right after this.
Watching the Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
The Power Hour is on the air. Live streaming to you on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Monday evening. Tyler, you got to be excited about Mondays. This is our day. This is the day we get to come out, talk ball, just shoot the bull. It's all good. You got to love the vibe. That's what we're trying to bring back, just that Monday feeling before football gets here. And then we got so much to talk about that we can't even focus on anything. But regardless, shout out to you guys for always showing up and showing out for us. So round of applause to you for everything that you do for us. And don't forget, if you love the show, help it grow. Follow us on all our social media platforms at the Power Hour 615 or at the Titan Upload Network. We're going to give you football content 24/7, 365, every chance that we can get, because that's what we want to do and make sure that you're well informed and entertained. We do it because we care. All right, Tyler, as I said, Amy Adams Strunk has been under the microscope for the last 4 years. Definitely not in a positive light, but I kind of get the sense that maybe the tide is turning. So why not do this show potentially on the one person that I feel has been the most polarizing in Nashville for the last 4 years? Shall we get this ball rolling?
Let's do it.
Let's kick it into the net and roll it off with Titan Talk. Amy Adams Strunk is kind of an enigma to me in some instances. Since taking over the main job for the Tennessee Titans, being the boss, the big cheese, the big kahuna, we all know the pressures would come with trying to build an NFL franchise to successful standings. And let's put it this way, Tyler. She started off on the right track. But like everybody that tries to overdo things or overthink things or make moves that don't need to be made, sometimes we get in our own way. And I think that's very much a big part of that. But I also feel there's things that definitely need to be put more on her in terms of responsibility, especially as the owner. And I understand not every NFL owner has charismatic character or they can carry themselves or a conversation and they have to be in front of the limelight. That's not her. And I'm not trying to make that her. My biggest thing that I think that has hurt her the most, she wants to have that energy without having to step in front when things are going wrong. Because let's face it, Tyler, early on, she was front and center. We saw so much of her. We were like, okay, she cares. She's trying to make things work. She's spending money. She's putting amenities into facilities and helping this team improve. What happened? Where did it start going south?
Oh, man. Where did it start going south? I mean, let's face it. Really, it started going south when the team, started losing more. I mean, if we're being honest, like that's all we've talked about that. Winning cures, I'm not going to say all, but most. When the team is winning, it's great. I mean, and I'm not trying to switch this to talking about them, but just think about the Colts last year, how everyone was praising, I can't think of her name, but because she was on the sideline and had the headset on, was listening to what all was going on. But then once the team started losing, it was like, why is she down there? Get her off the fit. And it's like, whoa, what's with the switch up here? And honestly, more of the going south was how quick that trigger finger was for getting rid of people.
But let me take it a step further. I also feel she pulled the trigger on extensions way too soon. With John Robinson and Mike Vrabel, understandably, they were successful at that time, and you want to lock your guys down. But was it necessary? I guess is the best question I can ask for that. I mean, as good as the work as they did it merit that long-term deal to where now you're questioning that move and every other move in between it? I feel that's kind of the starting point, Tyler.
And that's a great point that you bring up there as well. I mean, guys having success early on and going ahead and jumping the gun and giving them those extensions in hopes of that continuing on.
And it's bigger than that. I feel also with those moves being made, I genuinely felt like she gave J-Rob too much power at that time. I love what he was doing. We were on the path to the right place, but unfortunately, we ignored the red flags and they were popping up and we kind of became complacent with it. And I also say the same for her. It's good when you can find success with a player that's been injured and they can go out and produce at a high level, but you can't keep making risks like that. There's no guarantee. There's nothing that's going to solidify that. And that generally, I felt, got him in trouble because we built the J-Rob model as something too big to fail. And I get it. Had success at New England and Tampa Bay. Kid from Tennessee, you gotta love that kind of just energy. He's one of us. But I feel that was the starting point of the entire downslope. So, I mean, Tyler, in your own words, what else was a bigger issue with Amy Adams Strunk? What do you feel almost kind of just basically continued the downward spiral?
For me, I mean, and yeah, I'm speaking just for me. It was like things that continued the downward spiral is when things started going downhill in like the J Rob and Vrabel era, she just kind of disappeared into the darkness. Like she wasn't afraid to pull the trigger and fire these guys, but then you didn't hear from her. Like that responsibility was put off onto someone else. Like, okay, you go out here. I'm going to let you talk to the media about why I decided to fire this guy. Why I decided to let him go. But you know what? I'm not stepping in the public eye right now. I'm not getting out in that.
And look, I can talk about this till I'm blue in the face. But the thing is, it's just with NFL owners, they own the team. They're going to do whatever they want to do, and they're going to express themselves or not express themselves in the public light. And obviously, with Amy, it's very much the case. She didn't want to face the guns, especially when the buildings were on fire. And that's her choice. I'm not going to just throw her under the bus for it. She made that choice and she stuck with it. And unfortunately, that's just put her in a poor view with the public eye. Because at least if you're going to go out there in the beginning of things, when things are going well and be out there, you know, it's pretty damn frustrating, especially the fact you just won't do it anymore. So you kind of just give people just a bad vibe on that. But I digress. As most everything that has gone downhill since then, from all the firings that we've gone through, J. Rob Vrabel, Rand Carthon, Brian Callahan, it just seemed just an endless stream of just bad decisions. And everybody has every right to criticize those decisions. I'm not trying to defend them. There's nothing to defend. Case in point, it's understandable if you're going to go with a bad hire and just let it play out, especially if you feel that they can actually right the ship. But it's just in such bad taste to continually push that narrative because we all knew the truth. You wanted this team to be successful by the time the new stadium opened because you can't sell PSLs for a bad team. And it's what we've been for the last 4 years, from mediocre to a bad team. But there's some light at the end of the tunnel. I genuinely feel she is listening to the people that are making football decisions now. Do I have any evidence on that? Well, let's just look at the string of decisions that's been made since Brian Callahan's departure. I mean, Tyler, Mike Bergonzi, I felt was the best decisions the Titans have made probably ever in terms of a front office job. And I will stand on that bridge until it collapses under me or it's going to be plated in gold. But I am damn sure that she finally made the right choice with Mike Bergonzi and letting Chad Brinker go.
That's where the redemption arc starts. You got the guy in there at general manager that can, especially here's the biggest part, if you let him do his thing and give him time and let things pan out, he is going to get this team back to where you want it to be. So having him, and then now, like you said, getting, Chad Brinker being gone, that, to me, that's where the redemption arc starts, since obviously we're talking about the road to redemption here.
And it's getting there. Like building anything properly and building it to succeed, you have to have the right things in place to make it succeed long term. And I felt when hiring Mike Borgonzi, it rarely succeeds in terms of bringing in a different GM with a different head coach that's already been there. It doesn't always mesh. And that's just the truth. It's rare when it does. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's very rare. So obviously, Mike Borgonzi goes out. Massive hiring search. I mean, Tyler, the whole joke was like, damn it, who are they going to interview today? Because it seemed like every day it was like a candidate consistently. We probably could have had a candidate throughout that entire calendar month and potentially just gone through a day and just a candidate a day, endlessly.
I mean, put it this way. You could have put up a poster of all potential head coaching candidates, and instead of just throwing one dart, the Titans, Borgonzi basically just grabbed a handful, and he was like, all right, boom. All right, yep, boom, 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 boom.
But it gave me just a rush, especially after the entire narrative of when it was just, oh, he's going to hire Matt Nagy. It's a done deal. It's a buddy hire. How many times did we countlessly just go through that argument with people? Like, what the hell are we doing here? You just don't hire your buddy, especially when you're in the highest position of your career. I mean, I'm not tying my career to Matt Nagy. You can forget that.
And I mean, let's put it this way, because it's you have to kind of go off of history too, and we are talking about Amy Adams Strunk right now. Like in this segment, you have pretty much seen that each year it has, for the last several years, it's been fire GM, fire coach, fire GM, fire coach. The year that you're landing on right now is, if she were to continue that way, is fire GM. So if that's the year that you're landing on, even more crazy if you decide to say that Matt Nagy is your guy.
Thank God it didn't come to that. I really am just genuinely grateful that it did not come to that. Not only that, you end up with a brilliant defensive-minded head coach, but you also get a very gifted offensive-minded coach as well with head coaching experience to coach the quarterback that is supposed to be the savior that's supposed to be. But let me add another point to the redemption story. While it's impossible to just deny your entire roots of Houston altogether, I applaud her for taking a leap and moving back into the roots of that origin. And that's not a knock on the Titans logo in general or the Greek mythology. It was great. It was fun. There's going to be a lot of people with a lot of retro stuff. But at the same time, and I really kind of get this gist. And I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler, but maybe it was just time to embrace it all along. Flaws and all. In general, it's easy to want to deny that kind of just uniform and just do our own thing and be our own thing. But when the roots are already in there, it's kind of hard to deny it. And she was brilliant enough and smart enough to listen to people And what did she do? She didn't change the wheel or reinvent the wheel. She refashioned the wheel.
In a big, like in a great way. I mean, no other way around it. In a great way. Like, yeah, I can't. I mean, you've pretty much hit on it there.
I mean, have the Titans uniforms been relevant in any sense of the word in the last 20 years?
No, not. Mm-mm. The only time the Titans uniforms or the Titans and uniforms were really mentioned together was if they were wearing the throwbacks.
Yeah. Or I mean, if they had solid gameplay, but I mean, when they did the entire rebrand back in 2017, if I'm not correct, I mean, it just didn't go over as people wanted it to. I mean, if you're local, we were fine with it. It was our colors. It was our look. And the success we had with it, I guess that just helps things just move along. And in sense, with the 99 rebrand, early success hit it, so it was easier to move with that logo and with that image.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, that also is another road to the redemption story arc here. But here's where I'm getting my selling point. At some point, through all the moves, through all the firings, through all the bad decisions, through all the things that have just put you out on the open for criticism, you've actually got a chance to finish the story outright. Consider it like this. It's a bad movie. Everything that's bad and can be bad is happening at this very point, but you're starting to see change, and in a positive way. And it's not hard to find. You go out online, you talk with people in the area. There's excitement. And in terms, if there's success with it, then you're going to be praised along with it, regardless. Because like it or not, I mean, you're a big process of bringing in Mike Borgonzi. You were a big process of the revamping of the uniforms. You were a big process of getting the new stadium built. Hell, we're going to have a Super Bowl here in 4 years. Pretty nice to say Nashville's on the rise.
That it is.
So regardless of it all, through all the bad, through all the misdirection, through all the bad decisions, the quick decisions, I genuinely feel like she's got the team on the right path because she's letting the football people make football decisions, and she's made some brilliant strategy moves through the rebrand and through the new stadium. And if you want to still be mad at her for everything, okay, that's fine. I'm not here to tell you you can't. But at the same time, it's just silly to just look past the things that she's helped bring forth to make this team more relevant, to make this city more relevant. Think where we could be in 10 years if this all works. That's the fun part. That's the part you hope to be talking about. That's the stuff we really want to be talking about on these shows. I hope we get to do like a flashback 10 years ago kind of show and just look at that kind of thing and just have just a major conversation about that. That excites me. But I genuinely feel through everything, Amy has finally got this team on the right course to where they need to be successful. If she can just stay out of her own way and let the football people make the football decisions.
And be patient.
Be patient, of course. But I know you're not going to be patient with us because we only got a little bit of time left, so we'll get our last break in. And when we come back, we love you and mean it, but we got to shut you down and get you back out in the real world. Closing time's up right after the break.
watching the Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
The Power Hour is on the air, live streaming you on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Monday evening. Guys, you've been phenomenal. You've been great. You've been everything that we could ever hope for in an audience. And before we get out of here, we got one more segment, of course, but one more, and as always, one more time. Round of applause to you guys for showing up and showing out for us. We put on a great show because you show up and give us the encouragement to put out a great show for you every Monday night. So don't forget, if you love the show, help it grow, and follow us on all our social media platforms at the Power Hour 615, wherever you stream your viewing pleasure. Well, Tyler, we got one more segment, and it's a pretty big one, so we won't undervalue the size of it. So let's hit it with the damn theme music.
Closing time. Good night, losers.
And to close it out, shout out to Coach Mack. He is officially going to be a member for this season to join the Ring of Honor with so many illustrious players and architects within our franchise. So, Tyler, very much well-deserved.
Yeah, I agree. Just what he brought, what he was able to teach, what he was able to do in the booth. I mean, just all aspects of it, and a great guy, and well deserved to be going in the Ring of Honor.
And look, fantastic coordinator coach, great linebacker coach, solid defensive coordinator. Unfortunately, head coaching, it's not for everybody. And Coach Mack put in a great effort, and it just didn't work out. Those are the way things sometimes fall in our favor or disfavor. But regardless of it all, Coach Mack got to do what many people dared to dream to hope for. He got to talk football with everybody that wanted to listen to it. And not to mention, he got to be a part of many very amazing people that he got to just share that love with and see the passion week in and week out, even more so on Sundays. You just love people like that and people that just have that passion and that drive. And he just exemplified that 100%. And I'm just very excited to see him end up on the Ring of Honor with so many other great Titans and Oilers legends. He very much deserves it. So I definitely have to ask this question, Tyler, because I don't want to put a damper on the mood, but I definitely have to ask this because it's interesting. It's like, you definitely know he's going to be on the ring, and that's great. It kind of sucks. It's for 1 year in an old stadium, and then it gets moved to the new stadium. So, I mean, I'm not trying to make light of it, but at the same time, it's like, man, it's like he's going to get almost two ceremonies if you think about it.
Like you said, that's one way to look at it, getting two ceremonies kind of, but it's a tricky situation because obviously you want to do something that is like to honor him even more this upcoming season, and putting him in the Ring of Honor is a way to do that. But you're going to put him in there just to destroy that stadium. It's like, I know you want to do something this year, but would it have almost been better to wait until like next year when the new stadium is open and do it then? But, hey, maybe that you give him this moment, that way when you open up in the new stadium next year, it's kind of a moment to kind of give two moments to everyone that's in the Ring of Honor because of the new Ring of Honor.
Right. And I mean, going into the new stadium, I feel like they'll set aside one of those home games, invite those members back, and, have that unveil as well. And I think that's just as special. It's just from just a logistical standpoint and a building standpoint, you're kind of like, man, he's going to be up there for 1 year and then we got to move him. So it's like, well, I guess we'll have 2 ceremonies. You're worth it, Coach Mac. So not saying you're not. I'm just saying that just sucks. You just get 1 year in the old stadium, but then you got to get moved into the new one. But I guess that's the whole point of moving.
And I may have missed it. Have they said when they're going to do it, like this season? Like,
if anybody knows in the comments, hit it for us, because I definitely don't have an idea of when they want to do it, but I'd say it's definitely going to be maybe a potential divisional game. That would make sense to me.
Well, see, the way I think about it, especially since you're only giving him 1 year in the old stadium, in the Ring of Honor,
right?
Yeah, maybe you open up at home this year. Like, it kind of feels like almost a way to really, and I don't know, I'm trying to not make it sound bad, but why not do it for the home opener? That way he had, like, it's the whole season.
I can dig that. I mean, you want it to be up there for the entire season, despite the move, which, you hate to see it just up for 1 year, but at the same time, if you could have it up for the whole season, then that makes sense. Go that route. And of course, before we close up, we have a bit of breaking news, and it's a little bit on the sad side, but I wanted to make sure we give our condolences as well. Larry Fitzgerald Sr. has passed away, unfortunately, and we give our thoughts and prayers out to the Fitzgerald family, and of course, Larry Jr. That's definitely just a massive hit to him as well. So, I'm just very happy that he was able to watch his son make it to the Hall of Fame, and we wish our best for the family.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So on that note, we definitely once again give out our thoughts and prayers to the Fitzgeralds. So we wish them the best, and it's unfortunate. But that'll do it for us, guys. So thank you for joining us on the Power Hour tonight. One more time before we get out of here, round of applause for you for showing up. Social media platforms at the Titan Upload Network, and of course at the Power Hour, wherever you stream any of our shows. We will be back next Monday with another great show for you, and of course a lot of great insight. And plus, we'll have another session of OTAs to talk about. And don't forget, guys, we're putting up great shorts for you on our YouTube page. So check those out. We can get all the views we want. And believe me, we love it when you show up, and we continue to put out great content for you. So with that being said, Tyler, we'll give you the final thought of the show before we close up shop.
Yeah, final thought of the show. Loving seeing that Cam Ward and Carnell Tate connection continuing to grow.
I mean, are we feeling really good about that situation? I mean, are we getting that H.A. Brown vibe? Are we getting there?
It's funny. I was talking to my wife earlier before jumping on for the show, and I was filling her in on the news throughout the NFL, AJ going to the Patriots, and I was like, but you know what? Carnell Tate is going to heal all wounds for this. So we'll leave it at that.
I love your optimism, and I hope I can share in the sunlight when it definitely has an opportunity to shine on us. That'll do it for us, guys. We'll be out of here and see you next Monday. So for Tyler Staggs, I'm Michael Bishop of the Power Hour. And as always, take care and tighten up.
Tighten up.
You're watching the Titan Upload Network.